Hey fam, and welcome back to the channel. So tomorrow, February 3rd, marks a powerful day of protest and solidarity for the Hispanics. So Hispanics, Latinas have created a day they are calling a day without a Mexican, or a day without immigrants. So this is the direct response to the mass deportations happening across the US, and the Hispanic community is leading the charge to show just how vital immigrants are to the US. From restaurants to construction sites, from farms to tech companies, immigrants play a big role in the US economy. So tomorrow they're asking everyone to stand with them. Businesses are closing, workers are staying home, and communities are uniting to send a clear message. Now here's my question for my fellow Black brothers and sisters. Are you guys going to stand in solidarity with the Hispanics? Let me know your answer in the comment section. I don't even want to think about what your response is, because I think I know, okay? I just want to hear what you guys have to say on this. Watch these clips.
Amigos, if you are an immigrant, a family member of an immigrant, a friend, or an ally, listen up. We will not be going to work, we will not be going to school, and we will not be spending a single penny. We are going to show America what a day without immigrants is like. I am strongly encouraging you to take part on this day, because together we are capable of so much. Enough is enough. We are done waiting. We have waited for far too long. We have missed out on way too much. We shouldn't have to give out our sob stories for an immigration reform. Please continue to spread the word, and let's hit them hard where it hurts.
Go watch this video, please. And on February 3rd, don't go to work, don't go to school, don't use any utilities that you don't have to. Consume as little as possible. This country is a machine that runs on money to generate money. And the only language our politicians care about is money. So we will speak their language. And when the gears of the economy start slowing down, that's really the only time that they care about anything. So February 3rd is officially a day without a Mexican. And if you watch that first video, you'll learn more about the history and how it's been successful in the past.
This generation, Cesar Chavez, please step to the front, because wouldn't it be great if you organize a mass strike in every single industry that relies on immigrant labor? Because in my opinion, that is the best way that you show Donald Trump and Republicans what it actually means to get rid of all of the people that help this country run. Let them feel in their wallet the consequences of their decisions. Because while there may be thousands of Latinos like me in white-collar positions, there are tens of thousands more Latinos who are taking jobs that no American is rushing to take. They are picking the fruits and vegetables in the fields. They are building your homes. They're taking care of your kids. They're maintaining your lawns. And they're doing this all the while Donald Trump and Republicans are calling them criminals and demonizing them. So yeah, organize a strike. Let them feel what it's like to have a day without an immigrant in this country. And let's see how quickly those Americans will be rushing to take those jobs.
Hey, we are doing a day without an immigrant on Monday, February 3rd, 2025. So if you're an immigrant or supporting the immigrant community or the migrant community, then no college, no work, don't buy.
So Monday, February 3rd is a day without immigrants, and I really hope every immigrant and every ally participates in this. Since Trump got into office, we have seen these raids every day that have been going into our communities, causing fear and making our lives unbearable. Immigrants are a vital part of what makes the United States the country it is. We pay billions in taxes every year. We rejuvenate communities when we move in, and we are a major part of the workforce. That's why we need to come together and support a day without immigrants on February 3rd. That's no work, no shopping, and no school. We're not just doing this for them to see how important we are. We're also doing it as a demand to stop the mass deportations and give people a pathway to a status. People want to do it the right way, but more and more options are being taken away from people to be able to find a pathway to a status, and we need to change that. So let's show them how important we are to this country by supporting a day without immigrants on Monday, February 3rd. Remember, no work, no shopping, and no school. I really do hope you support this cause.
One of the most efficient strikes in all of history is making a comeback, and that is a day without a Mexican. I want you to stay through this video even if you yourself aren't Mexican, especially if you are a part of a marginalized community and you have concessions that you want met so that you can ally yourself with this strike. First and foremost, I want to tell you what it entails. You should do this in part or in whole, as much as you can. And I'm also going to explain to you why you need to coordinate with your neighbors. A day without a Mexican means not going to work and not going to school. That's the basic of the strike. That's the first most important piece. The second part of this strike is that you are not to use any electricity or utilities on the day of the strike. Now, of course, there are exceptions for this, like using the bathroom. And if you're in a location that is particularly impacted by the climate, like it's too hot or it's too cold, then naturally you have to use electricity because you have to. Hopefully you are able to coordinate with your neighbors to be able to minimize how many houses are using this electricity. And because you're not going to be purchasing anything from that day, the point is also not to purchase things in advance. So I highly encourage you to get connected with some Latinos in your community, especially those who are growing vegetables in preparation for strikes like these, or who have a surplus of vegetables or goods already kind of holed up in their household. A lot of us already prepare for these kinds of strikes. Not to brag, but I've been prepared for a very long time for this specific strike. Now, in the event that the concessions are not met after the first day, the strike will still stop, but it might come back. That's usually what a day without a Mexican looks like. And as the movement progresses, somebody is going to be able to point to a leader. There will eventually be a couple leaders that are going to spring up in your local community who are going to start negotiating what those concessions might look like. The reason that I say this is one of the most efficient strikes in all of history, the last time that we had this boycott, a lot of undocumented people were granted amnesty, which is essentially legal status. And there hasn't been an amnesty in a very long time. Also, usually the amount of immigrants that participate in this particular protest is somewhere around 1 million people, minimum. So if you join there and your organization becomes a part of this and endorses it and participates in it, it has a pretty good chance of becoming pretty big. This is your window of opportunity, leftists.
All right, mi gente, February 3rd, no work, no shopping, no school, no getting gas, nothing. We stay home. They want to see what this country is like without us. Let's show them. I want to up the ante here and say that it's not just for immigrants, but children of immigrants. I am the daughter of 2 immigrants who immigrated here as undocumented immigrants, who came here in search of a better life so that I could have a better future and give my children a better future. I am also the wife of an immigrant. He was born in Mexico. And so I will be staying home in support of them. But also, I will also be staying home in support of my rights and my children's rights. And here is why. They want to take away birthright citizenship. They say that it is unconstitutional when in fact it is the 14th Amendment that gives us the right to birthright citizenship. So, I will be staying home. I encourage all you first, second, third generation Mexican Americans, Latinos, whatever you may be, child of an immigrant, to stay home as well, because they are not only going after our family members, our loved ones, but they are going after us as well. They are threatening our birthright citizenship. So, I will be keeping my happy ass home. I am scheduled to work on Monday, and I will not go in. My children will be taking a mental health day, and they will be staying home. They are technically second generation on my half, first generation on my husband's behalf, and they will be staying home. We will be snuggling, watching movies, eating snacks and food, making popcorn that we already have at home, but we will not be buying one thing on February 3rd. I encourage others, like I said, spouses of immigrants, children of immigrants, first, second, third generations, go ahead and support your family members, your loved ones, your community members, your community, and stay home as well. They want to see what it's like to live without immigrants and their children and take away birthright citizenship. Let's show them.
I want this video to serve as a frequently asked questions video regarding a day without a Mexican. The first question and or comment that I've been receiving most frequently is, why is it called a day without a Mexican? You have to realize that this movement is actually based on a film, and the film itself came before the movement did. The film is called A Day Without a Mexican. This does not mean that it is not called by other names. Other names cite it to be called the Great American Strike or the Great American Boycott. It's also referred to as a day without immigrants or a day without Latinos.
However, this movement is meant to be all-encompassing, meaning that everybody can participate from every walk of life, doesn't matter who you are. And the next most popular question, why is this happening so soon? You have to realize that in order for a strike to be effective, it does have to have as many people possible to participate in it. As these deportations have been progressing, less and less people are going to be able to participate in the strike. Additionally, these deportations are not going to wait for you to get organized. The other issue with waiting and making an extended long period of time for people to organize a strike is that the reality will be that other companies can also organize in response to the strike well in advance and can basically hire people to replace you. This is a process that's called scabbing or strike breaking that I've been receiving is why does it have to be a day? Why can't it be a week or a month? The fact of the matter is that it has to be a day first for a couple reasons. The first should be obvious that people cannot organize very quickly for a full week. People can't afford to. It's just too challenging. It definitely can't go on for a month. The second issue is that when the concessions, meaning like the things that we're asking for, are not met, that is when we add time to the clock. The next question that I've been receiving most frequently is, well, I can't miss work, so what do I do? Now, there are a lot of things that you can do, and there are some things that you just aren't going to be able to do. The first thing is that you need to coalition build. What does this mean? Coalition building quite literally means getting organized with all of your fellow coworkers and figuring out if you can all walk out. When you all walk out, the company has two choices. It can either try to fire all of you, or it can basically just concede and let you have the day off. Most companies, and I need y'all to pay attention here, most companies are going to concede if you can get the majority of the company to call off, because most companies cannot afford to fire all of their employees. This would also be a great time for you to plan to become unionized. And I won't go into unionization very heavily, but it is something that you should research and you should get involved in, because strikes are a part of union activity. They are legally sanctioned activities. The next question that I've been receiving probably the most frequently is, I'm not a migrant, I'm not Mexican, how can I get involved? What can I do? How can I participate? I actually think that it's vital that people who are not immigrants, who are not affected by deportations, also latch on to this movement, especially people who are interested in other social movements at this time, because our oppressor is the same people and it is the same system. Some movements that have come to mind are Black Lives Matter, Free Palestine movement, unemployed movements, movements for better wages, LGBTQ plus rights movements, education movements. And I'm going to give an example, but I want you all to tie the oppressor to each other so that people can kind of understand where I'm coming from. In the case of the Palestinian movement, we have to realize that war is a part of what our taxes are funding. War itself in the United States is legally sanctioned genocide in most cases. This money also goes to destabilizing Latin American countries, which are ultimately the fuel behind undocumented migration. And of course, the creation of the United States was an illegal genocide. And this is where anti-racist movements come in, like Black Lives Matter, for example. This might look like calls for defunding the police, defunding ICE, defunding the Homeland Security Administration, which definitely goes into other countries to intervene. And I know that a lot of this seems very confusing, but in the end, it's very important that people latch on to these social movements to inflame them, because the bigger that they are, the harder it is to ignore the calls that people want. And of course, if you are a person who is living paycheck to paycheck, you should always participate in a strike for any reason. This should be also a call to create more jobs, to get better wages, to raise the minimum wage, to get better workers' protections and workers' rights codified into American law, and again, an opportunity to unionize so that there are less people who are able to be laid off at any given time. And this would be a good time to get workers' rights codified into law for undocumented people. That was actually the biggest part of the Delano grape strike and the workers' rights movements that Cesar Chavez headed. The last question that I've been receiving is is there an official channel? And no, the answer is no, there is not an official channel so far. I did see that a huge Latino creator was the one who initiated the movement here on social media. She has something like 500,000 followers, and the video that she posted has more than 250,000 likes, and I think 4 million views. It is the most immediate video in my reposts. So I know that organizations are already starting to be a part of this movement. My video was just one of the first to come out for the English speaking audiences. Anyway, I hope that this helps, and I hope that it explains a lot of the questions that people have. And of course, again, and this is something that I'm going to iterate over and over again, you should participate in this strike in part or in whole, meaning like as much as you can.
All right, fam. So we've reached the end of this video. I want to leave you guys with some thoughts, some final thoughts on this topic, which is, first of all, this topic is tricky for me because I'm not going to say F around and find out. Yeah, we all know what that means, right? Because I've seen some clips from Black Americans who have agreed to stand with the Latino community on this issue, on this mass protest, which is going to take place tomorrow, the 3rd of February, which is a Monday. I think it's a weekday. And that's okay. That's good, right? Because it means that forgiveness is being shown, right? But at the same time, I've also seen a lot of clips from Latinos saying that they don't need the Black community's help. There are even videos of Latinas complaining that Black people aren't stepping up. You know, Black people don't like us. Black people hate us. Black people are racist towards the Hispanics. Now, I can't help but say this, especially to those Latinas who feel like Black people don't want to help them. Black people this, Black people that. Then Black people, particularly Black women, show up in a major way during the elections. I mean, that was more than help. That was help enough, right? Had everyone listened to Black voices back then, maybe even these mass protests wouldn't be necessary, period. I mean, that's what I think anyway. It's sad and unfortunate that even the innocent ones who voted right are now being dragged into this mess. Perhaps this is the moment we can come together, or just we can come together, I mean, not just for their sake, but for Black people as well, for our sake. I've seen clips of Black Americans being stopped by IC, getting laid off work, and even Black history being cancelled. Like, a lot of things are happening that is affecting my fellow Black brothers and sisters. Well, it's clear that this is affecting everyone. Maybe it's time for Black people to come on board and help, try to make a difference, not just for others, but for Black people's sake, for our sake. And let's not forget that even white Trumpers, white people are starting to regret their decisions. I mean, I've seen a lot of clips on that. White people crying because they're losing their jobs, insurance, the groceries, the eggs, the prices are going up and all that. I mean, everyone is feeling the impact of this mess. I'll keep calling it a mess. It's almost ironic, isn't it? But here's the thing. This is a moment for all of us to reflect, learn, and grow. And I'm hoping that other minorities, especially the immigrants, have learned something from this. I hope they've learned their lesson from this experience. Okay, so which brings me to this question. What do you guys think? My viewers, do you believe this is a time for unity, or do you think the divides are too deep? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please make sure you do, because let's be real, the next 4 years, not 4 years, the next 3 years plus 10 months and some days are going to be a very, very, very long ride. I'll be bringing you more videos like this, breaking down the issues that matter most. Please stay peaceful, stay informed, and let's keep this conversation going by you liking and sharing, leaving your thoughts in the comment section down below. And remember, we are stronger together. Thank you for watching, and I'll definitely see you in my next video. Bye.